Hello and good morning, and welcome to Get Up and Game, where we like to start every day off right with a game on the table. Today, the game on my table is my laptop, and the game on my laptop is going to be the Lord of the Rings, the Living Card Game by Fantasy Flight Games. I'm actually going to be trying out Dragn Cards for the first time, and other than signing up for an account on Dragn Cards and Rings DB, I've never used this. So I'm hoping to show not only a game, but hopefully how incredibly easy and without any problems whatsoever it's going to be to get a game started. And even if there are problems, then I'm sure they're on me and not on any of these wonderful websites. I know they are excellent resources for the hobby. So I've watched the tutorials for Dragn Cards, and from what I understand, you actually want to go to Rings DB first. So we're going to head over here, and you want to find your deck. And what I want to do, I should say, I played the Lord of the Rings card game for its entire first life for about 10 years. I bought all the product and played all the things, and just through recently watching some streams, particularly with D20 Woodworking and the Living Card Gamer, it's really gotten me a hankering to play this game again. So I'm excited to try it back out. I don't have my cards anymore though. So Dragn Cards is the way I'm going to be reintroducing myself to the game and also introducing the game to my channel. And so what I want to do, I know they recently released the new starter decks during this sort of second age of the game, its second life. And so I want to try out the starter decks against at least the first quest. I just want to see how they play, and I think that'll be a good reminder for me as to how to play. Search. Here we go. So there is a Gondor starter deck, a Sylvan starter deck, a Rohan starter deck, and a Dwarves starter deck. And I really wanted to try the Sylvan one first. So let's go ahead and click on that, see if I can figure out play on Dragn Cards. Well, it doesn't get any easier than that. We'll click on that, and that's going to take us to Dragn Cards. I gotta log in. Okay, guys, don't watch me type in my password. Okay, I hope you didn't get that. All right, so let's try create room. I really don't know what I'm doing here. Let's go private, create. Okay, I'm looking at a whole bunch of stuff here. I wonder if there's a way to make the whole thing full screen. I'm not. Layout, standard, extra, options maybe. Feels like there's probably a way to make this the full screen, but maybe I'll figure it out eventually. For now, let's see if we can figure out how to load a deck. Load quest, load deck, Rings DB URL. Yeah, let's do that. Huh, okay. Well, I clicked on the thing and it didn't. I mean, I can probably, let's try just copying the URL and pasting. Oh, come back. Load deck, Rings DB, right click, paste. Okay. I'm loading a deck from Rings DB over here. I did. Oh, hey, there's some Sylvans. That must be the right thing. Excellent. All right, so we've got our deck. Let's see if we can figure out how to load a quest. I see they've got them very handily organized by cycle. Very cool. We're just going to play Passage through Mirkwood. We'll play it on normal. Hopefully I haven't forgotten too much how to play, though I do enjoy playing on easy. It's fun to start with the extra resources. But we're going to try it on normal, see how it goes. The starter deck, just from what I looked at the contents of it, looked pretty solid. So I think I should be okay. And now, from what I understand, it's pretty much all about the hotkeys. And I'm really bad at hotkeys. Boy, this looks great. You just hover over the cards and it gives you a nice big display. And I know some of them, yeah, have a little thing in the corner where you can actually activate it. Some of the cards are like automated, like they're scripting, which is super cool. I believe if you hold the tab button, there it is. You get all the hotkeys and whatnot. Boy, that sure is has a lot of buttons, isn't it? That's terrifying. I think for now we're just going to try to click and drag things and see how that goes. So let me look at my opening hand. If you haven't played the Lord of the Rings card game, It's a cooperative or solo game where you you build a deck out of a card pool. You purchase a bunch of cards, and you get 3 heroes. Generally, there's other ways to build your deck, but you typically want 3 heroes, and they all give you a special ability, and they all have a color or a sphere, and that determines what cards you want to include in your deck. They get resources and can pay for cards. And I'll probably give a little bit of an overview as I'm playing, but I have a strong suspicion if you're watching this on my channel, you already know how to play this game. So let's look at our opening hand here. It's Darren's Runes. We're definitely keeping that. Feigned Voices. Oh, wait. I gotta remember. I'm so used to playing Marvel Champions. In this game, when you do a mulligan, you have to mulligan your whole hand. It gets shuffled back into your deck, and then you draw a new hand. I'm used to Marvel Champions where you get to pick and choose which cards you keep. So I have to decide based on the whole hand if I want to keep this or not. And it is looking pretty good. I got a copy of Olorium, which is going to let me play Sylvan allies cheaper, and this deck wants to play Sylvan allies rapidly and frequently. Sylvans are fun because they come into play, they have some sort of special ability, and then you have various ways of returning them to your hand, hopefully, and they will trigger their abilities again when you play them a second time, which is really neat. This looks like a pretty good hand. I'm just going to sort of play fast and loose here. I don't want to get too caught up in it. So let's see. He knows he has the whole thing laid out over here. Can you literally click? You can click exactly where you want to be. So I've set the beginning of the planning phase. I know. Let's see if I can find a hotkey. So there's the tokens, card hotkeys, game hotkeys. So it looks like if you do Shift N, that will draw your card and gain resources. So I could have done that to probably start a new round. Like I said, gonna be a lot of clicking and dragging while I get used to this. So we drew, we didn't draw a card. Oh, it's because we skipped the resource phase. Beginning. Okay, let's go back to here. Okay, maybe I have to manually draw a card. Let's try Control N, see what happens, or Shift N. Hey, I drew a card and I have resources. Okay, so that's not too tricky. Shift N works. We drew the Mirkwood Runner. He gets to do some attacking. We have 1 resource up in the top left of each of our heroes. And the way I understand you manipulate the tokens is if you're hovering over the top half of a card and you press the right button. I believe it's the number 1 for resources, number 2 is for progress, and number 3 is for damage. And if you hover under the bottom, like let's just try it. Yeah, if I hover under the bottom, I pushed 1 and I lose a resource. If I hover over the top and I press 1, I gain a resource. So that's very simple. And then say 3, I can add damage. I can remove it. And then if we were doing questing, I could press 2. Oops, I was right over the middle there. Yep, 2 to add progress, 2 to remove progress. This is amazing. I played a decent amount of OCTGN back in the day to play Lord of the Rings on my computer, and that certainly worked very well, and it's still going from what I understand, but this just looks a little nicer and feels a little more intuitive, I think, already. I'm excited to try. So let's start out by playing Darren's Runes. It's going to let me, I'm just going to drag it up here onto the table. It says draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card from your hand. Let's see if I can figure out how to draw cards. It's just, you just press the D button. So I'm going to draw and draw. And now how do you discard a card? Oh, that's probably just a drag. X. X lets you discard a card. So I drew 2 cards and now I have to discard 1 from my hand. Let's see, I think I'm the least excited. Well, I don't need 2 copies of Feigned Voices probably, so we'll hover over and press X. Oh, so easy. We'll discard that. Fantastic. Okay. Well, we know, let me go over our heroes real quick. We have Celeborn here. He is sort of the leader. If you've watched Lord of the Rings movies, he's the one who would very much like to know where Gandalf is. He has 3 willpower, which is how you add progress to the quest and ultimately how you win the game. That's the little sun symbol. He has 2 attack and 2 defense. Those work how you'd pretty much expect them to. And his special ability is when a Sylvan ally enters play, and I suspect every ally in this deck is probably a Sylvan, that ally gets a +1 to all its stats until the end of the round. So they get a 1 round bonus, and then after that, they're whatever their card is printed as. But like I said, you're hopefully going to be bouncing them back and forth, so they should be getting that bonus pretty regularly. I'm just hoping I don't forget to give them that bonus. Then we have Haldir of Lorien, one of my favorite heroes when I played this game. He has the ranged keyword, which won't matter. So we're playing a solo game, that's only for multiplayer. And he can attack enemies not engaged with you, which includes enemies in the staging area, which is up here. The Forest Spider and the Old Forest Road are hanging out up here in the staging area. So when cards come out of the encounter deck to be bothersome to you, they hang out in the staging area first, and then you can manipulate them in various ways to interact with them, and hopefully Haldir can take them out before they ever bother to come down and be engaged with us. Now, that does depend on their threat. So you see this Forest Spider here, that top 2, he has 25 engagement cost. So that determines whether or not he will come down and mess with us. And if I could figure out where my starting threat is, here it is. So this little purple number here in the top middle, I don't think you can see my cursor, so you don't know when I'm pointing at things, but it looks like my starting threat is 29, and so this guy, his starting threat is 25, so he will engage us. So I don't think Haldir is going to get a chance to deal with him before we have to mess with him. And then Galadriel finally is our third hero. She has 4 willpower, which sounds awesome, but you'll have to see it's not as accessible as you might think. 0 attack and 0 defense. She's not really one to jump into the battles. Though, strangely, if you've watched the Hobbit movies, she does jump into the... It was weird. I didn't like the Hobbit movies. Anyway, she can't attack, quest, or defend. So you think, well, what can she do? Well, first of all, allies you control do not exhaust to commit to the quest during the round they enter play. So similar to Celeborn, she wants to boost allies the turn they come out, and then not so much after that. And then as an action, you can exhaust her to choose a player. I'll pretty much always be choosing me. That player reduces their threat by 1 and draws a card. So that's very, very nice. So she can keep our threat low and help us to draw extra cards. But thankfully, we have this card down here, Nenya, that is her Ring of Power, one of the Elven Rings of Power. You can put it on her. First of all, it gives her a lore resource icon, so she can help pay for green cards. And as a quest action, you can exhaust it and Galadriel to add her willpower to another character's willpower. So it's kind of like she can quest, but she hangs out in the woods and sends her willpower outward somehow through a ring. So we definitely want to get that on her. And Olorian is another card we really want because it is a resource, basically a free resource for Sylvan allies. And that is a purple card, or a leadership card, so it has to be paid for by a leadership hero. So let's go ahead and get the game started. We're going to move to the planning phase. And this is where, okay, we'll go to the play cards in turn order step. And now is when you can spend resources to bring into play allies and upgrades and things like that. I might use the wrong terms. I'm so used to playing champions and I haven't played this game in a long time. Attachments. They are attachments in this game. So we're going to spend his 1 resource. So I hover over the bottom half and I press 1 to spend it. We're going to bring Olorian out and we're going to attach it to him. And we're going to try to, I think there's a way you can put it right on him. There it is. Neat. So now that is attached to him, and we can exhaust it to lower the cost of the next Sylvan ally played this phase by 1 to a minimum of 1. So we've got that going for us. We also want to get Nenya on Galadriel. We are, let's see, I think I'm going to go ahead and spend, since Nenya is a gray card, it can be paid for with any resources, and I kind of want to get Galadriel's resources up to 2. To bring out the Galadriel's Handmaiden here. She costs 2. You can see in the big number 2 in the top left is the cost in resources. So we're going to go ahead and spend Haldir's resource to bring Nenya out onto Galadriel. And now we have done that. And finally, like I said, I think we're going to save Galadriel's resource. So, oh, actually, hey, this is pretty cool. The whole reason I played Olorian, I can make a Sylvan ally cheaper. So let's go ahead and exhaust it. Let's see if we can figure out how to, let's see, if you press A, you can exhaust already. So we're going to hold over there and press A. That exhausts Olorian. Now the next Sylvan I play is 1 cheaper. So we want to play the Galadriel's Handmaiden. Normally she costs 2, but thanks to Olorian, only costs 1. Remove Galadriel's resource and bring her into play. After Galadriel's Handmaiden enters play, choose a player. That player reduces their threat by 1. So let's see if I can figure out how to... There, my threat is now down to 28. Very cool. Now, when she comes into play, she gets a boost to all her stats, thanks to Celeborn. She gets +1/+1/+1. I believe there's a way to add actual tokens to make them, let's see, just kind of quickly scanning. Yeah, here we go. So 6, 7, and 8 add, or 5, 6, and 7 add extra willpower, attack, and defense. So let's just go 5, 6, 7. So she has +1 to all of her stats. Neat. And thanks to Galadriel, she does not exhaust to quest this turn. I think that's all I can play. I'm out of resources. So let's go ahead. So we're going to be going into the quest phase. So let's talk about how the quest phase works really quick. The whole point of this game is to try to complete these quests by putting progress onto them. So the first quest stage here is Flies and Spiders. It has all the setup instructions here on the front, and then we need to flip it over, which is, as you might expect, F. So we flipped it over, and it tells us that there is 8 progress required to complete this quest. That's the big orange 8 there, and it has a bunch of flavor text. I won't read that just to keep things moving. So we need to get 8 progress tokens on that, and the way we do that is we go into the quest phase, which I'll just click now, beginning of the quest phase, and we can commit characters. Yeah, we'll go ahead and go here. We're going to commit characters to the quest. I think we just do that by exhausting characters. So she has a 3 willpower. Again, that's the sun number, but she's getting +1 because of Celeborn. So she contributes 3 to the quest, and what you're trying to do is basically build up a mass of willpower, and you're going to bring that to bear against the threat in the staging area. In the top left corner of these cards, they have a threat value, and they all add up. And it actually tells you at the top of the screen here, there is 3 threat in the staging, and we currently have -3 progress. Not really sure what that's referring to right now, but maybe we'll figure it out. So we need to bring as much willpower to bear as we can, and if we have more willpower than there is threat in the staging area, we get to put that progress onto the quest, and once we get 8 progress onto that quest, we get to move on to the next one. And so we need to overcome at least 3 threat, but there's also going to be 1 card per player added to the staging area, and so there will be 1 more card, and we don't know what that will be, how much threat that's going to contribute. So we need to quest for as much as we feel we should. So we're going to go ahead and commit. I don't know if there's a button for committing. Oh, Q. Yeah. So we can hover over. If we press Q, she is committed. Now she shouldn't be exhausted is the only thing. How do you ready someone? Exhaust, ready. Oh, it's just the same. So you press A. We're going to go ahead and stand her back up because she doesn't exhaust a quest, thanks to Galadriel's ability. We're going to go ahead and let's see. So that's bringing 3 already. Galadriel can add 4 thanks to her ring. She can contribute her willpower to somebody else. And we're going to wait to do that until we need to. Haldir is not going to quest, I don't think. See, here's the thing you have to think about with this game. This is a big part of playing this game, is when you go into the quest phase, you have to be thinking about the rest of the round, because there's going to be enemies, and those enemies are going to engage you, and you have to be able to defend them and attack them, or at least defend them. And we know that this forest spider is going to come down and attack us, because his engagement cost of 25 is lower than our current threat of 28. So we have to have a plan for how to deal with this guy, and that's why we're not going to just send everybody to the quest and try to make as much progress as possible. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to send the Handmaiden, and we'll end up using Galadriel and Nenya to put 4 more on her, but we're going to keep Haldir ready and Celeborn ready and see if we can defend ourselves against this spider. So we've committed 3, and now that we have done that, let's go to staging. And let's see how we reveal an encounter card. I know I said I was going to click and drag everything, and then I immediately went to the hotkeys, but I feel like I should probably learn these. Okay, E is how you reveal an encounter card. So let's go ahead. We've committed 3 willpower. Now that we've done committing our characters, we can reveal an encounter card. So we press E. Out comes the Mountains of Mirkwood. It has 2 threat. We won't worry about its other abilities for now, because right now all we care about is how much threat there is in staging, and it tells us that there is 5. We have only committed 3, and now what we're going to do is we are going to activate Nenya. Does it say we have to exhaust Galadriel? I believe it does. Exhaust Nenya and Galadriel to add her willpower to another character, so that's 4 more willpower. And I don't know if there's a way to tell the game that, but we just know that we have 7 willpower versus the 5 that's in the staging area. So that means we have quested successfully by 2. So we're going to go ahead and add 2 progress, which I believe is we already talked about this, that is the 2 button. So we added 2 progress to the quest of the 8 that we need. So that was the quest resolution step. And then we have the end of the quest phase. So that is all we're going to do there. And then we move on now to the travel phase. This game is made up of many phases and many steps. And the nice thing about this website is even if you don't have them all memorized, they're just clearly laid out for you. This is amazing. I think we're going to be playing a lot of this game. So now we have a travel opportunity. Let's go ahead and click on that. So the way travel works, there are 3 different kinds of encounter cards that can come out to mess with you. There are enemies like this forest spider, there are locations like this old forest road, and there are treacheries that are basically like events that the bad guys play and they do one thing and then they go away. We didn't get a treachery, but we do have to deal with enemies and locations. And the way that you deal with locations is you can travel to them. There's room for 1 location to be your active, and you can travel to it, and what that does is that gets it out of the staging area so that it's no longer contributing its threat, but it then acts as a buffer. You see here in the Old Forest Road, that little orange 3, that's 3 more quest points I now have to contribute before I can start putting progress on the quest again. So they do slow you down, but this is part of the game is dealing with these obstacles. Now, I wish I had remembered that the Old Forest Road, after you travel to Old Forest Road, you can choose and ready a character you control. I might have quested with 1 more hero if I had remembered that was going to happen, but that's okay. I can still ready Galadriel and use her ability, so that'll be nice. So we are going to go ahead and make the Old Forest Road the active location, and that is, I believe, also the A button. Yep, so now that is in the active slot, so that reduced the amount of threat in the staging area. And that's really all you do in the travel phase generally, though we do have to trigger its response. After you travel to Old Forest Road, we may choose and ready a character. We're going to go ahead and ready Galadriel. And that's the end of the travel phase. We're just going to click through these one at a time. Go to the beginning of the encounter phase. So the encounter phase is how you deal with the enemies. What's going to happen is we're going to do engagement checks. We check against their threat threshold is 25, and our threat is at 28. So this guy is going to engage us, and so we will move to that. Now, there is such a thing as optional engagement. If he wasn't going to automatically engage us, we could choose to bring him down to us. Sometimes you want to do that strategically to pull enemies out of the staging area earlier. If you have a means of dealing with them, you can just get rid of them sooner. But we're not going to have a choice, so we'll just skip our optional engagement. We'll go to engagement checks. So he does want to engage us, and let's see if there's a way to... you can deal shadow cards. Okay, I don't quickly see a way to just engage him, so we'll just drag him down. Maybe that's all you do. That's simple enough. So he comes into our threat area. Oh, I see we have a whole engaged section here. Very cool. Now, once all the enemies that have engaged you are going to engage you, you give them all shadow cards, which is Shift S. Looks like that deals all enemies a shadow card. So whenever an enemy attacks you, there's an unpredictable potential for an unpredictable action that it might take. Sometimes their attack gets boosted, or they make you discard things like that. So enemies always get a shadow card when they attack you. And so we know he's attacking us for 2, and his special ability is when he engages a player, he gets +1 until the end of the round. So he is currently attacking us for 3. Now, we have a couple options here. If we don't defend him at all of his damage has to be applied to 1 hero. And so Celeborn here has 4 health, Haldir has 3, Galadriel has 4, it's the big red number. And so there's a very good chance if his shadow card boosts his attack that he would kill a hero. And pretty much if you lose a hero in this game, you kind of want to start over unless the game's almost over. So we definitely don't want to let him just attack undefended, so we need to defend him with somebody. We could defend him with Celeborn, who has 2 defense, or Haldir, who has 1, or I'm thinking I might go ahead and defend with the Handmaiden over here. She actually has a 2 defense right now. She only has 1 hit point, so she would still die. I guess that doesn't matter that her defense is boosted. But I also kind of want to keep her around for future questing. So what else do we have? We have, oh my goodness, that's right, I'm playing a Sylvan deck. Let's check the events. I have Feigned Voices as a combat action, and that means we have to be in the combat phase to play it, and we are. Return a Sylvan ally you control to your hand to choose an enemy engaged with a player. That enemy cannot attack that player this phase. Well, that seems like a far smarter way to handle this. So what we're going to do is we're going to play Feigned Voices. I'm just going to drag it up. And that means we return a Sylvan ally to our hand. I wonder if there's a fancy way to do that. Raise threat, reduce threat, clear targets. I don't quickly see a way, so we're just going to go ahead and return her to our hand. And that clears all our tokens for us, and that's nice. And what that does is the enemy cannot attack. So this enemy is not going to get to attack us this phase. That's fantastic. And that also means that we get to play the Sylvan again next turn, and that means she'll get all her fun bonuses again, including reducing our threat. So that's what makes Sylvans fun, is, like I said, they come in, they do a cool thing, and then you have other cards that do cool things that then return them to your hand, so you can do more cool things, and it's just all cool things. Sylvans are the best. I'm glad I chose this one to play first, though I hope it doesn't make the next 3 videos a little less exciting. I didn't think that far ahead. Okay, so now that this guy is no longer able to attack us, now we have an opportunity to attack him. So that was the enemy. We're going to skip the enemy attack step because he's not allowed to attack us. Now we have the player attack step. He has, or I should probably stop saying it, I don't really know for sure what it is, has 1 defense and 4 health. So it's going to block the first 1 damage because of its defense, and then the rest damage that it takes all goes to its health pool. And if we can do 5 damage to it, we can knock it out in 1 hit, and it looks like we will be able to. So we're going to go ahead and exhaust Haldir and Celeborn. We're going to combine their attack values, so their total attack is 5. All of that gets applied to the Forest Spider, which will be enough to defeat it. So we'll go ahead and knock it out. That also discards its shadow card, apparently. Very nice. And the last thing we can do, the round's about over. We're going to go ahead and use Galadriel's ability. We're going to exhaust her. And that allows us to reduce our threat by 1. So we're going to drop this 28 down to 27. And we're going to draw a card, which was Shift D, I believe. Tried to press a multiplayer hotkey. Uh-oh, I did something wrong. Okay, how do you draw cards? Oh, I think you just probably... Do you just press D? Oh, you just press D. Boop. Okay, and we drew another one of these Mirkwood runners. That's going to be nice. Well, maybe. Yeah, those guys will be pretty cool later. I see what's going on here. All right, so that is the end of the combat phase. We used her ability. We go to the... So we go to the refresh phase, the beginning of the refresh phase. So during this phase is when you unexhaust all your characters. You do have to raise your threat by 1. The game is on a constant ticking timer where your threat will always be increasing. If your threat ever reaches 50, you lose the game. And the lower you keep your threat, the better, because the enemies will attack you less and things like that. So we want to ready everything. I bet there's probably a way to do that. Let's see. Raise threat, reduce threat, refresh and raise threat. Shift R. So that readied everybody, and did that increase our threat by 1? Yes. So we're back up to 28. And now we're going to go ahead and start a new round. Shift N. Oh, right. We drew a card. We have resources. So that is the whole first round. I'm going to start playing a little more quickly now that we've gotten through. Sorry to take a drink there. Now that we've gotten through a whole round and I've kind of explained the basics of everything, I'm going to try to play a little more quickly to move through this game. The quest usually doesn't take too long, and it's not terribly challenging, but it is a very good refresher for me. And also, it's still a fun quest, even though it's kind of easy. So we have some options. We have Olorian, so the first Sylvan we play is going to be a little cheaper. So we have the Nath Guide here, who can make a hero quest without exhausting. We could bring the Handmaiden out again to reduce our threat. We could bring a Minstrel out to search the top 5 cards and add an event. That's always good. I think I might just bring out the Handmaiden and try to let the other heroes accumulate some resources. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to exhaust Olorian to reduce the cost. We're going to pay 1 to bring out the Handmaiden. She is going to lower our threat by 1 again, because that's what she does. She gets +1 to all her stats. And she will not exhaust a quest, which we're going to go ahead and go into the quest phase now. I don't know if there's a way to advance phases, or if it just doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't think it much matters. We'll just go into we'll say we're in the quest phase. I don't know if you have to click it here or not. We'll do that. Commit characters to the quest. So she's going to be questing, but she doesn't exhaust because of Galadriel. I think we're going to take a chance here and quest... Yeah, let's try to do a lot of questing while we can. We're going to go ahead and exhaust Haldir and commit him to the quest as well. So he's questing for 2. We have 3, 4, 5, and then we'll be able to exhaust Galadriel to add 4 more if we decide to. We might just choose her and save her for ability. Choose to save her for her ability. We'll see. Let's reveal an encounter card. So we've committed 5 to the quest. Our encounter card is Caught in a Web. So here is an example of a treachery, and we hate these cards, this card in particular. When revealed, the player with the highest threat, that's me, level, attaches this card to one of his heroes, counts as a condition attachment with the text, attached hero does not ready during the refresh phase, unless you pay 2 resources from that hero's pool. So this is just going to sit on a hero and keep them exhausted, and it's incredibly annoying. Let's go ahead and... man, we really don't want this on anybody. And I don't know if there's any cards in here to get rid of it. But for now, I think we'll put it on Galadriel because we don't have to use... Well, yeah, I think we'll put it on her. We don't have to use her. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, so we had 5. Let's go ahead and exhaust Galadriel and Nenya. That is going to add 4 more willpower. So we already had 3, 4, 5. And we're going to add 4 more. So we're questing for 9. I don't know how to tell this. So I can just click it. So we're at 9. And so we're only up against 2 in the staging area. So that means we make 7 progress, it tells us. So the first 3 progress is going to be applied to the active location. And then that will be discarded. And so that leaves 4 more progress added to Flies and Spiders. So we just need 2 more, and that is the end of the quest phase. We're going to go ahead and do we want to travel? So let's read what Mountains of Mirkwood. In order to travel to it, we have to reveal the top card of the encounter deck and add it to the staging area. But then after we leaves play as an explored location, we may search top 5 cards for our deck for our 1 card and add it to our hand. So we're basically replacing it with another encounter card that could be anything, and then we might, then we get to draw a card once we clear. I think we're just going to leave it there for now. I'm not too worried about it. I don't want to add another card, and so we're not going to do that. And we didn't end up using Celeborn for anything. I just saved him in case we needed a defender. So that is everything. Since we're not going to travel, so we can sort of skip that phase. There's no enemies, so we can sort of skip the combat phase. So we're going to go straight to refresh. I believe that was Shift R. That raised our threat. That stood up all our characters. Unfortunately, she actually doesn't stand up. Thanks to Caught in a Web, we have to spend 2 resources to ready her. She doesn't have any resources. So that is the end of that. And we go to a new round. Shift N. Everybody got some money. Now she is going to lose her tokens. We'll take those off there. I drew Elrond's Council. It's a very nice card. It lets me reduce my threat by 3 and give a +1 willpower boost for a turn. So we'll likely be playing that. Now that we have 2 willpower, or 2 resources rather, on Celeborn. Okay, we can play some cards here. All right, we are going to exhaust the Olorian to reduce the cost of the next Sylvan ally played. We're going to bring out the Galadriel Minstrel here for 1 lore resource. So we'll take 1 away from Haldir. We'll play the Minstrel. She's going to get +1 to all her stats for the round, and she's not going to exhaust a quest. And when she comes into play, we get to search the top 5 cards for our deck. Oh gosh, we got to figure out how to do this and add it to our hand. Okay, how do you search? Let's see. I don't see an easy way to look at cards. Okay, so we're just going to sort of pull up the top 5. Okay, they're going to get added there. 2, 3, 4. Oh. Okay, we'll put this. Oh no, I don't know how to disconnect them. Oh man, what is going on here? How do you unattach? How do you unattach something? Let's see. Start, discard all the cards, send attachment to back of stack. Well, that's not, I want to unattach. Okay, here's, you're getting real time. How in the world do you play Dragn Cards? Welcome to Josh has no idea how to use computers. All right, so if I press, see, that just moves it to the, how do you, can you right click on things? Nope, that's a thing. Because the only event is this Host of Galadriel I drew, so I need to, this will be the card I'm adding to my hand. It lets me return each Sylvan ally you control to your hand, then play each of those allies from your hand 1 at a time at no cost. Oh my goodness. I don't think I ever used this card back when I played. It's 4, it's expensive, but that's incredibly powerful. So I want to add this to my hand. I need to get the stupid lemon bread off of it. All right, hold on. Back to the tab. Sauce ready to... Oh, detach. Detach. See? Huzzah! That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to add that to our hand, and then I guess we're just going to put these back into our deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to learn how to shuffle. That's... Oh, H. I could have said H to shuffle into the deck. Okay. Well, how do you shuffle in general? Is... Oi! How do you shuffle? Well, H, shuffled player card from player 1 deck into player... Okay, so I guess that must have shuffled. Great. All right, so we have this card. We're definitely going to want to play that at some point, but not yet. I don't think. And so we played her. Very nice, very nice. She's going to quest for a good chunk. Now, he still has 2 resources, so he could bring in the Nath Guide, and she's going to let somebody quest without exhausting. The thing is, we only need to make 2 progress. There's 2 in the staging area, so reasonably, if we could quest for about 4 to 6, we could probably complete this pretty easily. The Handmaiden's questing for 2, the Minstrel's questing for 2, so that's 4 right there. Okay, I do think it's worth it. We're going to go ahead and pay 2 resources, bring out the guide. Let's bring her over here. Just all the stats, not going to exhaust a quest. And I believe that is everything. Yep, that's everything we're going to play. And Galadriel, unfortunately, is still caught in a web that somehow made its way all the way to LotR to web her up. Best not to think about the theme sometimes. And now we're going to go to the quest phase. So let's see. We're going to commit the Handmaiden for 2. I'm going to commit her for 2. And for 2. Oh, did I give her the wrong? Oh, whoops. I think I gave her negative. Oh my goodness, it's getting worse. Got it. There we go. There's plus $1 stats. So we're questing for 6. We are up against 2. So as long as we don't reveal more than 2 threat, we will be fine. Though, I'm just now remembering the Nath Guide's ability is I can choose a hero to exhaust or to quest without exhausting. So we're going to go ahead and commit Celeborn, but he doesn't exhaust. So we're actually questing for 9. So this should be plenty. So let's go ahead and reveal our encounter card, questing for 9 against 2 plus 2 more with the Dol Guldur Beastmaster. When he attacks, he gets an extra shadow card, so he's a nasty customer. But the only thing we care about right now is that we made 5 progress. So we come over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We only needed 8, so that completes this quest card. We move on to the next stage. Excuse me, the next stage of the quest. See if there's an easy way to do that. Looking for anything to do with quest cards. And maybe you're seeing something, but I am not. Oh, I did just see a way to commit without exhausting. Shift Q, that's good to know. All right, let's see. Can we just... Oh, nope, that moves that. Oh boy, how do you move along the quest? Hold on, here we go. What do we do? We click. Let's go back to the first side. Nope. Okay, I figured it out. If you double click on the... Do you even have to double click? If you just click on the quest card, which seems so incredibly obvious now. I'm a big silly dummy sometimes. We are going to move to... Oh wait, maybe I didn't figure it out. Hold on. Quest deck. I just move to the next. Oh, nope, this isn't it. I didn't figure it out. Why is it so confusing? Okay, so I figured out a way to do it. I don't know if it's the main way to do it, but if you click on this little eyeball up here by the quest. Oh, hold on. Wait, it worked a second ago. Why am I not? Oh, it's already up. Okay, here it is. So we can bring out another quest card. I gotta believe there's an easier way to do this, but we're just gonna go ahead and bring this out. Oh, gosh, no. This isn't what I want at all. Go away. All right. We're just gonna send that over to the victory display. Sorry about that whole ordeal. My goodness. This is what happens when you try things without actually trying them first. So we got to stage 2, a fork in the road, and there's nothing on this side, so we're going to flip it over. And this one only needs 2 progress, and it says when you defeat this stage, we're going to have to choose one of 2 different stages at random. And so, let's see, can I get rid of that? How do I make this go away? Close. And okay, there's that. So we have moved on. Well, I'm all discombobulated now. We've moved on to this stage. We're at the end of the quest phase. I clicked some buttons while I was trying to figure things out. We're like over here somewhere. All right, so we're on to the travel phase. Do we want to travel to the mountains? Let's see. Is this guy going to engage us? He's 35 engagement cost. We're at 28 threat. He's not going to engage us, which is good. And he takes 6 total attack to defeat in 1 turn, which is more than we have access to. So we might... Do we want to just leave him? Yeah, we're just going to leave him there. I think we might go ahead and travel this. We don't want too much stuff piling up into the staging area. So we're going to travel to this, which means we're going to have to reveal another encounter card, which is the Black Forest Bats. When revealed, each player must choose 1 character currently committed to a quest. Well, we're in the travel phase, so nobody's committed to the quest anymore. And remove that character from the quest, so none of that matters. And so that wasn't too bad. So now when we go to the encounter phase, the bats have 15 engagement cost. We have 28 threat, so we is definitely coming down to mess with us. So we're going to go ahead and bring it down. And it's going to get a shadow card. And now it is attacking us for 1. We are going to go ahead and defend that with Celeborn with his 2 defense. And now we're going to flip the shadow card. Defending player must choose and exhaust 1 character he controls. Yay, spiders. So I'm going to have to exhaust Haldir. I was looking forward to having Haldir defeat the bats here, but no such luck. And that is all we can do. All of our characters are exhausted. I could have played Elrond's Council. Maybe I should have, but we'll just save it for next turn. And that is the end of the round. We're going to go ahead and refresh. That bat just stays engaged with us. This can be discarded. And we move on to the next round. So let's see. We get resources. Galadriel should not ready. There's probably a way to lock her, but we're not going to worry about it. Drew another Handmaiden, so we can reduce our threat by a little bit. We can quest for a lot. Let's see. Take all the bonus stats. Actually, these guys shouldn't have exhausted the quest last turn. That part slipped my mind. Darn it. Well, if that's the case, okay, so these 2 allies here would have still been ready. I could have exhausted one of them to the shadow effect of the bat. So we're just going to go ahead and say I was smart and did that. And then Haldir could have exhausted to defeat it. So we're going to do that because, yeah, that was just a silly mistake. I totally forgot to keep these 2 elves ready from Galadriel's ability. Excellent. So we have 1 leadership resource, 2 lore resources, and 2 spirit resources. We want to get some attack power onto the board, so I think it's time to get one of these Mirkwood runners down. We're going to exhaust Olorian. We're going to pay 2 lore resources. Can you just... nope. Here we go. We're going to drag out. So he is going to be attacking for 3, which is going to help kill this Beastmaster, I think. Let's see, our 1 lore resource won't do much, or leadership rather. And let's go ahead, I don't know if we want to save, I don't think we're going to bother saving Galadriel's resources for readying her. Spending 2 resources every 3rd turn or whatever doesn't seem worth it. So we're just going to go ahead and spend to bring out another Handmaiden. Just really get our questing power up, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's remember that these 2 can quest without exhausting. Try not to forget that this time. And this Host of Galadriel card is starting to look really attractive. We can return each Sylvan ally and then play them. So maybe when we're ready to finish the game, that'll be a nice ending card. So we only have to make 2 progress on Fork in the Road here. And we're only up against 2 threat in the staging area, plus another 3 quest points we have to put on the Mountains of Mirkwood. So we do need to have a decent questing push. So let's go ahead and quest here and here. So that's 5. Oh, I forgot the Handmaiden reduces our threat by 1. Let's remember to do that. And let's go ahead and send our little questers here, I think. Let's see, we're going to bring him down. Yeah, let's quest for a bunch here. 2, 3, how much is that? That's 9. Yeah, that seems like a good amount. Let's quest for that much. Let's see what card we get. It is the Gondor Orcs. When revealed, the first player chooses one character currently committed to a quest and deal 2 damage to that character. Well, that is going to knock out one of our little elves. Sorry, Minstrel. I believe that is going to be you. So she took 2 damage. She only had 1 health. That did reduce our questing power to 8, but we still made 4 progress, which is just a little shy of what we need. Oh, wait. Before I forget, we could have played Elrond's Council. It is if you control a unique Noldor character, and we do. Nope, Sylvan. There it is, Noldor. You get to reduce your threat by 3. Let's do that. Click, click, click. And we get to add +1 willpower to a character. Let's just say I would have added it to this one. And that is the end of, so that's what that card does. So we actually have 9 willpower against 4 threats. So we make 5 progress, which is perfect. We're going to put 3 progress on the Mountains of Mirkwood here. That is going to leave play as an explored location, which means we get to search the top 5 cards of our deck. Let's see if we can figure this. There's got to be a better way to do this, right? Peek, move to, maybe not. Okay, well, we get to search the top 5 cards for any card, I believe. Yeah, we're going to get to add 1 card to our hand. 3, 4, and 5. So we get 1 of these cards. Oh, I think we might just take the Feigned Voices. Yeah. Let's take that into our hand. We're going to shuffle into our deck. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. All right. So now this has been cleared, and we had 2 progress left to add to this, which means we get to go to the next stage, and we still haven't figured out the right way to do this. We're going to... Oh, if you delete it, it brings up the next one. Oh, I knew there'd be an easier way. Just couldn't figure it out. Okay, so I don't know if this gives us access to both. Let's see, because there are 2 of these, and we have to choose one. This must be the other. Well, I don't know which is which, so we'll just say that this was the one. Close and keep order. Okay. So we've arrived at a chosen path. We chose 1 of 2, and let's see which one we found. It is Don't Leave the Path. So when revealed, each player must search the encounter deck and discard power for 1 spider of their choice, and added to the staging area, the player must find and defeat Ungoliant Spawn to win this game. So there are 2 paths, and we found the one that involved fighting a giant spider. So we have to go find said giant spider. Oh boy. Let's see. How do we search? There has got to be an easy way. You do peek. Just shows you the top card. Stop peeking. There's got to be an easy way. Let's see. Click this little eyeball. Okay. I think we figured it out. It's the little eyeballs. So let's find Ungoliant Spawn. So many nasty enemies. We were fortunate not to run into. Okay, there's Ungoliant Spawn. So we're going to grab that. Then we're going to close and shuffle. Excellent. Okay. I think we're getting the hang of this. By the time we get to our second game, I think we're already going to know how to do everything. So when revealed, each character currently committed to a quest gets -1 willpower. Well, that doesn't matter. The engagement cost is 32, so we're actually going to be able to ignore it if we desire. We have to kill it eventually to win this game. That is the clear condition on the quest card here. But for now, so there's we move on to the travel step. There is no locations to travel to. Our threat is 25. Engagement costs 35, 10, and 32. So the only one that's definitely going to engage us is the Gondor Orcs. So we have to bring them down. We could choose to engage somebody else, but I don't think, I don't think I have enough attack really to kill more than 1. No. We're just going to bring down the Orcs. We're going to give it a shadow card. Let's see. It's attacking for 2. I think if we have Celeborn defend it, we can pretty easily kill it with this guy here, and then okay, and then Haldir can maybe finally do what it is that he does. Yes. Okay. We're gonna have Celeborn exhaust to defend. He is attacking for 2. We reveal the shadow card, which says defending player must choose and discard 1 attachment he controls. Well, we're not making any use of Nenya, so let's go ahead and discard that. It's fine. And then, so we blocked, he attacked for 2, Celeborn blocked for 2, problem solved. And he has, these guys have 3 health. And so we're going to go ahead and exhaust the Mirkwood Runner. When Mirkwood Runner is attacking alone, the attacking or the defending enemy doesn't count its defense. Well, that doesn't really matter. But 3 damage is enough to defeat it. So let's go ahead and X him away. And now, while we're in the combat phase, if you have not engaged an enemy this round, that's right. I forgot how Haldir worked. I was thinking I was going to be able to have Haldir put some damage on an enemy in the staging area, but that only works if you haven't engaged. You have to be sneaky, and we were not sneaky. Well, that's fine. That's fine. He'll be able to do some damage next turn. So I think we're done. We are going to ready up. Let's see. They're going to lose all our bonuses here. There we go. And I bet there's a way to uncommit them to the quest. I'm just curious real quick. Commit. Oh, you can just uncommit. Q. I guess you probably don't need to do that, but good to know. Neat. Sorry, I'm just sort of figuring everything out. That was part of the point of this video. I definitely wanted to play this game again, but I also wanted to show how this worked. So for those of you who are Dragn Card experts, this was probably pretty frustrating watching me fiddle with everything, but next time I feel like I should be pretty savvy and we will be ready to go. She is not ready. Let's start a new round. So all we have to do is defeat this spider. We actually don't have to put any progress on this quest card. And so let's see if there's a way to defeat it. It has 9 hit points and 2 defense. So it basically needs to take 11 damage in 1 shot. And I think we should be able to do that pretty easily. We sort of have everything we need to make this happen. So what we're going to do, we're not going to, we are going to play, I'm not going to do the math here. I'm just going to pay the resource. So I paid 4 total resources. Oops. There we go. I'm going to play Host of Galadriel. Playing action. Return each Sylvan ally you control to your hand, then play each of those allies from your hand one at a time at no cost. So these are all coming back to our hand. Oh, this is fun. This is going to be cool. Now we get to play each of them again for free. So we're going to bring out the Handmaiden, which is going to reduce our threat by 1. And she gets the boosty stats. We're going to bring out the Nath Guide, which gets the boosty stats. The Mirkwood Runner, boost, boost, boost. And another Handmaiden. Oh, detach. Oh, there we go. All right. And she, again, reduces our threat down to 24. We don't have to quest for much because we don't need progress, but we do still want to overcome the threat in the staging area. Otherwise, if you don't, you have to raise your threat by the difference. And we don't want to raise our threat by too much. So what we're going to do, the good news is, actually, these all quest without exhausting. This is a good deck. This is fun. So we're going to send to the quest, send to the quest, send to the quest, send to the quest. So that is 10 willpower without exhausting. We can actually send Celeborn as well, thanks to the Nath Guide's ability to allow a hero to quest without exhausting. This card is done. And just for fun, so we've sent that, we're going to go ahead and play Elrond's Council to reduce our threat by 3 more. 1, 2, 3. It's going to increase somebody else's willpower. We'll say her willpower is going to go up by 1 more. And that is the end of that card. So we're questing for 14, currently up against 5. And I think that's all we can do. Let's see what our encounter card is. Great Forest Web, it's just a 2-threat location that doesn't really do anything, so we don't have to worry about that. We make 7 progress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we won't bother to travel because I think we're about to win the game. We will optionally engage Ungoliant Spawn and give it a shadow. So when it wants to attack, let's see, we need 11 damage. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, we actually, do we not quite have enough here? It's going to be attacking for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I really should have, oh, 7, 8. There we go. 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, we have just enough. Oh, I really need to learn to math things out before I just jump into things. We're going to play Feigned Voices, which return a Sylvan ally you control to your hand. We're going to turn one of these lower attack friends to our hand. To choose an enemy engaged with the player, they can't attack, so Ungoliant Song cannot attack. And now we just need to deal 11 damage. So we're going to attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That is enough to defeat Ungoliant Spawn. The players must find and defeat Ungoliant Spawn to win this game. We just did. And so we have won. So that is the end of the game. That was a lot of fun. Man, I missed playing this game. I played it, like I said, for 10 years. And just the nostalgia trip. And I'm just so excited. Thank you to C-Stan for making this program available. If you don't know who C-Stan is, he is one of the most prominent members of the Lord of the Rings community. He makes amazing decks and apparently amazing programs as well. So we're very thankful. Again, I want to apologize for all the fumbling around. I'm going to try to edit out some of that nonsense as I was figuring my way out, but I think this was a lot of fun, and you'll definitely be seeing more Lord of the Rings content mixed in with the Marvel Champions. So thank you everybody for joining me, and I'll see you next time we get up in game. Take care. Bye-bye.